Yes, this message of unity is one that you can find pretty much in all of the readouts from the different leaders that took part in that call. This is a message that we've been hearing, of course, from the American side, insisting that the allies are all in lockstep when it comes to dealing with Russia. One thing that was pretty interesting in the readout from President Biden is the way that this has been framed. Up till now, you pretty much had a very strong message saying, talking about the severe costs against Russia if Russia were to further invade Ukraine. That was pretty much the wording of the White House or different people in the administration. Now, in this readout, you're seeing that this is efforts to deter any further Russian aggression. So no specific wording on the invasion part. And that is something that seems to be indicating a sort of shift in at least the messaging of the Americans. We heard, of course, President Biden last week, who had that controversial comment about minor incursions and how much unity there was among allies as to what to do with Russia if it were to not fully invade Ukraine. So that's pretty important that it's called. But it was a long call, an hour and 20 minutes. Allies really trying to continue the path to diplomacy, but preparing, of course, for all possible scenarios, strong defense and deterrence. That is the strategy of the allies so far.
Kethevane, NATO has troops in Eastern Europe, the US pledging some 8,500 more. Tell us more about the possible implications on this.
Yes, the Pentagon confirming that 8,500 U.S.-based troops had been put on a high alert for a deployment. So they are ready to move whenever that will be deemed necessary by NATO. No final decision on whether they will be sent over to that eastern flank of NATO member states. But the message is that this has nothing to do with any specific movement from the Russian in recent days, that this is simply to be ready for all possible scenarios. It does, however, look like the Americans, at least, are getting ready for an imminent aggression from Russia. That's something that we've heard from the president himself, saying that Russia could attack at any moment, and they want to be ready. They want to show that NATO that they are ready to support NATO members, especially on the eastern flank. There's also talk about possibly moving U.S. troops that are already in Europe closer to Ukraine. All of that is indicating that the Americans at least feel like there is an increased threat, but the public messaging is nothing has changed. We're still working on diplomacy, but we will be ready for anything that happens from Russia towards Ukraine.